What's going on, guys? It's your boy Burroaks77 coming to you live with McAfee, sponsored by Gold Boys Network, Boom Fantasy, and Pickett Sports. Let's get right into it. The Napoli game just kicked off. I know people are going to want to get some quick looks for that since a lot of stuff is still open there. I jumped on over 1.5 total at Napoli goals at plus 110, and I took Raspadori for a goal since he's starting at striker plus 245 over on Barstool.
Yeah, I have a Kavicka goal it was at 205 pre-flop on Barstool. You could jump in live anywhere. Wow, nice save there. But yeah, I'm with you. I think they have a nice bounce back performance here um, after the humbling that Milan gave them the last match week. So I don't think they can afford to lay an egg here again. Got to have some momentum rolling into Champions League.
Yeah, I agree. I think Napoli was obviously in a little bit of a tough spot with Osimhen injured. I don't think that that's why they had so little success versus AC Milan. Obviously, I know you were on vacation last week, but I
Mm-hmm.
did talk last week. They play each other 3 times in like 17 days or something like
Right.
that. So, Napoli being very secure in their Scudetto race and their points there, they could afford to play that one close to the vest and try not to show AC Milan anything that they're going to do or try to do to them in Champions League. I am going to lose my video quality because I can't watch Serie A at the same time and do this stream, which is super upsetting. Um, but yeah, their goal was to not show them anything. Napoli is one of the best teams in all of Europe at scoring from set pieces. They have something like 20 plus goals scored off of corners alone this year. Big part of that is the service they get out of corners, the plays they run for set pieces, and Osimhen just being a monster in the air. The one mistake I think they made is Leao's cooking now, and if there's somebody I don't want cooking if I'm Napoli before I go play AC Milan twice for Champions League, it's probably Leao.
Yeah, I think we'll see. I mean, Napoli have not had to play without Osimhen. You mentioned uh, his injury. I mean, I think it was a little undervalued and underplayed. People just kind of assumed Napoli train would keep on rolling because when he had been out of the team in like cup games and things like that, yeah, Raspadori or somebody would come in and fill that gap. But I think at the very pinnacle here, the Champions League and like matches against other high level teams, not having that talisman up top, it makes a huge difference because his pace and his power, the direct
Yeah, and
nature of which he plays.
everybody coming back from international break. It's just it was a classic trap game,
Yep.
and I don't feel bad that I fell for it because the price was enticing, and I think the price was fair. So I don't feel bad about missing on that one, but I definitely think Napoli have more in store, and that's why I'm on their team total today versus Lecce. So um, let's jump right into the EPL slate since we don't have lineups for other games going on today. We have a really nice EPL slate this weekend. Um, Big game that I definitely want to talk about is Brentford versus Newcastle. Bees were buzzing for quite a bit. Now they've gone a couple of games in a row without scoring. Brentford at home, um, they play tough. Brentford's good. They'll have the crowd show up. I think the fact that Newcastle is plus money here, it sways me towards Newcastle. I think they get the job done here on the road. They still have one of the best defenses in all of England. Brentford's obviously struggling to find the back of the net right now. That said, Tooney is a monster. I think he's got over 15 goals this year. So he's always a threat. But I kind of see Newcastle handling business here, getting a goal, maybe two, trying to grind out a clean sheet here, being strong defensively. That said, if you do think Brentford or Tooney scores, I think there's a lot of value. Both teams to score is minus 120, over 2.5 is minus 105. You put those together, you get plus 135. If you think Brentford's going to score here at home, I think that would probably be the play for me, but I'm going to stick with Newcastle at plus 110 on the road here in Brentford.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle are rolling. Brentford, I think, can score. I like your look of both teams to score, assuming that we get all the usual suspects in the front line for Brentford. Newcastle, Wilson was deployed in their last game, and I think he had a brace. A different player than Isak, and they do have some flexibility there. But yeah, Newcastle, I think they can go there and get the win too, like you mentioned. But for me, I'll probably just look for a player prop opportunity. If the price is right, once I see the starting lineups, I may jump in for somebody's goal or something like that. But yeah, sight unseen, I like your look. BTTS.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we have another big one, Fulham versus West Ham. Fulham is obviously without Mitrovic for a little while. He got the hammer absolutely dropped on him. I think that the length of suspension there is kind of bullshit, especially because Bruno Fernandes has slapped refs way harder than that and gotten absolutely nothing. But Fulham, they're going to need to grind out some points here against a struggling West Ham team who's fighting not to get relegated. Fulham kind of far exceeded their expectations for the season, have been hanging around, above the top 10 mark for a while. At home, they're very tough. I like Fulham on a draw no bet at even money. I think goals are going to be at a big premium this game, and I don't hate a play on the under 2.5. It is pretty juicy though, right around minus 135.
Yeah, West Ham are tough. They're obviously, like you mentioned, scrapping for every point. I think it wouldn't be surprised at all if this one ends like a 1-1 type of game. Fulham do have enough to still scrap a goal. They've got some good wingers, and I don't love Vinicius, their backup forward. He's just okay, but I think one of the wingers, like a Willian or someone of that ilk, will probably be able to find a goal. Maybe even a set piece. One of the center halves, like a Tim Ream coming up, maybe contributing to a goal. West Ham, though, I do think they can get one. I think Danny Ings has brought better finishing to the front line. We'll see. I mean, Bowen has been playing pretty well. He's in pretty decent form. I think he could, assuming he picks up his spot on the right, I think that one-on-one with Robinson will be kind of fun to watch. I see this as an under game, like you said, under 2.5. I think a 1-1 does sound like the exact score line if you want to get crazy. But the draw no bet for the home side, I think is a decent enough shot because West Ham are who they are at this point in the season, So they're down that way because they weren't very prolific. But yeah, I could see a 1-1, something like that.
West Ham's a team that had top 6 aspirations and is looking dead in the face at relegation too, by the way, guys. So that's my opinion on West Ham, and that's why I'm going to go with Fulham draw no bet. Fulham's way exceeding their expectations. West Ham's way underperforming. Next up, we have Tottenham versus Brighton. Tottenham are absolute dog shit. The fact that you can get Harry Kane to get flicked in the nose and fall down like he got shot in the face with a high-powered rifle, draw a red card, get a penalty, and then give up that fucking goal for a tie on the road to Everton. That's embarrassing, Tottenham. And you just got rid of the manager you said you didn't want there. So that's real fucking embarrassing that if you come out with the fuck you Conte is gone game and cough one up like that. Brighton draw no bet -110 all day. Minamota and Solly Marsh props are going to be on my radar. I love Brighton here. Tottenham's dead. They're not making top four. They're just a bad club that need to blow it up and be done with that project.
Yeah, they've got a lot of injuries. Lucas Moore coming in with that silly tackle, getting a red card. That made us. Everything you said about Kane is true, and has been. Napoli just scored. I was looking down, but yeah. Anyway, a lot of key players out for Spurs here.
Di Lorenzo,
Brighton,
by the way.
Yep, Di Lorenzo. Yeah, if you had him for a headed goal, man, I wonder what. That probably wasn't even offered anywhere, but yeah, I mean, you mentioned Kane, rolling around, his antics, embarrassing. He's been a diver and a cheat most of his career. It doesn't mean he's not a great player, but I just hate that side of his game. Yeah, I think they'll score here at home. This is another game that I'm just not quite sure how to feel about Brighton in this spot. They do seem to just be chugging along here. I would be a little surprised if Romero doesn't get booked, especially with Matoma kind of running at him. His price for a card has been pretty well beaten into shape at this point in the season, but looking at it right now, just on FanDuel, plus 155. I mean, if I can find a plus 200 out there, I think I'll probably take a Romero booking.
Skip's a total hack too.
Yeah, Skip. I mean, he's got to play now because Bentancur and Basuma are both out in that midfield. Yeah, I Skip I could see him, leaving one in. Caicedo on the other side. There'll be some tackles flying in here, but I don't know how you don't like Kane for a goal. Honestly, it's the price on it is too good. It's plus 130 or better out there in the market. I think at home, we mentioned he's not afraid to manufacture a penalty when needed. Son, if he's playing, he's light on his feet too. He'll go down. Brighton will have to really strap.
Son, to be honest with you, I think they might
Really?
bench Son. You gotta give somebody else an opportunity. He is dead weight out there. He is absolutely.
I don't think they can because isn't Richarlison's hurt? And
I'd give a youth academy guy a shot. I'd do anything other than put Son out there. He's a fucking ghost, dude.
Oh, they're. I guess they're reviewing the goal. Potential offside, but yeah, I we'll see what happens. I would be pretty shocked. I mean, this new caretaker manager, I don't know if he's got the weight to bench like Son, one of their star players, but
Son came out and said that he's played like dog shit all year.
Well, yeah, I mean, Conte had enough gravitas to sit a player like that. I'm just not sure as a caretaker what kind of decisions he's going to be actually able to make. We don't really know about, his profile. Stellini, I think is his name, something like that. But I mean, that would be a big call to drop him. And especially if it doesn't work out, I mean, you're killing your chance to do anything.
They killed their chance to do anything when they lost that game to Everton.
Well, the Michael Keane, we got to give him credit, man. Like,
That was a worldie. That was an
yeah,
absolute
absolute.
worldie.
Yeah, he
The
steps
fact
out
that
of mid
Tottenham
or
put
steps out of
themselves in
defense.
that
Yeah.
position to have that goal be scored, though, is pathetic.
It was fucking hilarious. I loved it. That was one of my goals of the season right there. But yeah, we can move on then.
Yeah, that's just the Arsenal fan in you.
Yeah, it's all, dude. I always laugh at Spurs and it
Oh,
up.
for
I
sure.
mean,
Dude,
yeah,
I was in chat watching that game. The second they got a red card, I go, cash this out. Spurs are gonna bottle this. Like, I
yeah,
was on Spurs money line. I told everybody, cash this out. Spurs are going to fuck this game up. And then 3 minutes later, they did.
yeah. I. This is the spot though I like Spurs in just because they're a home team and it's about even like in terms of the odds. You can get plus 160. I think the way to play it's probably more just grab Kane for the goal because you can't really trust him at the back. But yeah, I I know for sure I'll have a bet on Kane to score, especially at these prices. I just can't turn it down.
Next up, we got Wolves hosting Chelsea, and this feels like a trap because you're getting Chelsea at plus money, and they've created almost 6 xG since the last time they've scored. I still don't believe they can score. I'm going to take Wolves double chance at minus 120, and I'm going to
Hmm.
take, fuck, the under's juicy, but under 2.5 at minus 140 seems like a lock.
Yeah, I mean Wolves. A point here is a good point. They're not fully out of it yet. Obviously, we've talked about this for a couple weeks. From Palace down, anybody could get pulled into it. So, uh, home form for a lot of these teams in the last, you know, 8, 9, 10 games. If you got 10 left, um, is going to be paramount. And yeah, against a blunt Chelsea attack, I think Wolves can sit in. They can do what they do best and just try to hit them on the counter. Um, it'd be interesting to see if Diego Costa gets a match up top against Chelsea. That'd be kind of fun seeing him run at those guys. But yeah, it's Lampard. I mean, obviously he's coming in to take the caretaker job. I don't know what he's going to have time to implement, what he does different, if anything. Maybe he reverts to a different system. I just don't. I don't. Lampard's not a 3-5-2 kind of a guy. You know what I mean? So maybe he can get Chelsea's attack going by playing a 4-3-3 or something a little more creative. Uh, you know, get. I don't know if that's best for like Chilwell and James though. If their whole recruitment has been for Tuchel's system and that three at the back with the wing back kind of a thing. If Lampard wants to be bold here, I don't see why not. Just give your best, put as many of your good players on the field as possible that could try to get you a goal. And I think with having Conte back, you can kind of go back to a four at the back and let him cover. The reason they've been so bad, and I think been so blunt going forward, is because they've had to play with extra bodies back, and I think Conte gives you that, even at an advanced age, gives you that ability to shield a back two and kind of drop in, and I think if I'm Lampard, I'm going for it. I
Well,
don't know
yeah, you
who.
have nothing to lose. Like
Right. So
it's not your
yeah,
team, and you're just here for the vibes, pretty much. Um,
vibes. And I
and I
don't know. I
think
mean,
I think
they
the
have.
biggest
Go
mistake
ahead.
Chelsea can make is if Lampard does well and they go, Lampard's our manager again, because they'll fire him again next season.
Well, yeah, Todd Bailey's uh, just continued he's like Roman but without the winning. The flying by the seat of your pants, very impulsive decisions. I mean, to fire Graham Potter after spending all of that money to get him out of Brighton. I think they paid 25 million to get him out of Brighton. they guaranteed him like 50 million over the next 5 years. So a $75 million investment in him, in Potter, to just sack him after 6 months. Yeah, the results haven't been good, but did you read the Athletic article that came out about Chelsea and Potter's time? If you haven't, I'll share it on my Twitter, and I recommend to anybody watching too, if you just want a nice read. Chelsea, they just, there's so much wrong with what they're doing as a club right now. They've got 31 first team players. Their squad is so big. They were talking about the players are very willing to go on the record, not with their name attached to it. Obviously, they're speaking, but this, I mean, it just goes back to the culture of the club. It's always been ran by the players. Back to even when like Czech and Lampard and John Terry and Drogba were all there, they were, getting every manager sacked. We don't like the tactics, boss. We don't like going up to. I think it's the same kind of situation going on, and yeah, I mean, I don't know how you fix it right now. There's obviously got to be a bunch of players sold. If they miss the Champions League, which it looks like that's almost a guarantee. Yeah, I mean, they got to beat Madrid and then beat the next two
City
teams.
Or Byron,
right,
and then whoever the fuck else comes out of the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, so
you gotta win 5 straight Champions League games, and I don't think that they have the players or the manager to do it.
Let's assume that they are not going to be in the Champions League. What that does for financial fair play with an already bloated squad, there's going to be a bit of a fire sale going on at Chelsea this summer in order to get them back into compliance, or they may face bans from European competition.
We might finally see Pulisic get some ticks somewhere.
I think Pulisic he's got to be one of the first names to get out of there. I would think Koulibaly, he's had a pretty rough time. I would think he's going to get out. And I mean, the list
for sure. He's not even registered now.
Yeah, Aubameyang, I've heard, he might turn up at the training ground over in Bavaria because Thomas Tuchel, brought him in. He wanted to work with him a little bit, and he only got an hour of football before Tuchel got sacked.
Yep.
And I mean, Bayern do need a little bit of depth behind Choupo-Moting, I would suppose. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one for Chelsea. I mean, they've got a lot riding on things. I think Kai Havertz, it's mentioned, speaking of Bayern, like he's already twerking for a move to Bayern, and they've already been, Oliver Kahn and the brass there are said, oh, we can't talk about other players, but he is a great one, and we'd love to have him, things like that. So I just hope Diego Costa scores the winning goal, and I want to see him celebrate, get in the face, do something crazy. I just can't touch this game. I know there's going to be tremendous value betting some of these Chelsea props, and it's going to be tantalizing when you're like, oh wow, João Felix is like plus 230 or something. I don't even know. I'm pulling that out of my ass, but let me look. Let's see if they got lines up yet.
Shout out to D-Lo.
Go ahead.
Shout out to D-Lo in chat for the sub. Appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah, thank you. Felix plus 210 for a goal. Kai Havertz plus 210. Like, these numbers are going to look so juicy.
I'm not going to touch on one of them.
Yeah, you just can't. It's hard to touch because, they just don't create enough chances. And when they do, they're like offside or something else. So Wolves, I like your look from where we rolled it all the way back. I know we kind of got off on a tangent about just Chelsea as a whole, but it is pretty interesting what's happening at that club right now.
Yeah, for sure. And Wolves at home, very solid defense, very tough to score on. For a team that's not in form and not scoring goals, I like Wolves at home here to try and pick up a point on the double chance. I think that's a very playable number. The under's super juiced. So that's why you're getting the numbers you're seeing on those goal scorers, because the sports books don't expect goals either. And by super juiced, I mean minus 140. That's still a playable number for a lot of handicappers. For me, that's a little bit too much juice. I kind of bottom out right around minus 130, minus 135. And even that's a big stretch for me when it comes to soccer, just because there's so many other games on the board that I can find better value in. Whereas like baseball, I will stretch down to like minus 130, minus 135, especially for pitcher props, just because it's a different game. And pitchers,
Yeah.
you know, they're going to hold the ball 90 plus times as a starting pitcher, whereas there's no guarantee anybody holds the ball in soccer. So yeah, moving on from that, we got a great relegation battle here. Leeds versus Crystal Palace. Leeds at home, coming off a nice win where they picked up some points, feeling themselves a little bit. Crystal Palace, in my opinion, still ass. Leeds at home with a plus number on them here. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take Leeds plus 110.
Yeah, I see where you're at with Leeds. I mean, it's I don't know if I can get there. I understand, like I said, what you're thinking. I like your thought process, but I just can't get there. I can't trust them.
Oh,
Palace will
I don't trust them for shit
right.
either.
Yeah.
But to play a half a unit on Leeds at home at a plus number versus a very poor Crystal Palace team, I gotta take the shot.
Yeah, I hear you. And Jack Harrison just signed a new deal. Had a goal against Forest. I think you're probably right. I guess for me, always have a hard time fading Palace unless they're playing like a really high end team. Just because I like their size and their athleticism. I don't think Zaha is available. I think he's got a knock. That would, if he's confirmed out, I love that bet. I love it a lot more than where I'm at right now with it. If he somehow is fit and playing, he's just so good. Guys at the back, like for Leeds, like what's his name, Robin Cook or Koch or whatever, the German guy, and I think there's Danish. Their right backs like that Danish guy, Rasmussen or something like that. I can't. I'm probably butchering his name, but I think down that left hand side, if Zaha is available to go, I think he can give him some trouble. But yeah, I Patrick Bamford's back starting. Do you like him up top? Do you think it gives him?
I think Bamford's stuck in that awkward position where his potential and his talent is there, but he can't stay healthy enough to find form.
Yeah, yeah, he's a really solid player, but yeah, just
I just
doesn't
think that this
doesn't have the.
press that
Mhm.
I just think that Leeds has speed and athleticism. I think at home, with the fans behind them, knowing that they're facing a fellow relegation competitor here, would I be surprised if they get a draw? No.
Yeah,
I would be a little more shocked if Crystal Palace got an outright win. But like you're saying, if I wouldn't be super shocked if Zaha played and was fit and somehow managed to have himself a hell of a game. I
yeah,
just don't. I don't think Zaha is in great form. I don't think he's fully fit. I think if they do trot him out there, we're going to get about 75, 80% of Zaha. And I don't think that that is enough. So I'm willing to take the risk here at a plus number on Leeds at
yeah,
home. And what feels like not a must-win game, but a don't fucking lose this game. This feels like a don't fucking lose this game situation.
I can dig it. Yeah,
Next up, speaking of a don't fucking lose this game situation, your boys going to Anfield, taking on a disastrous pool team that looks abysmal. Arsenal, you guys are top of the table. You guys have the vision of being Champions League competitors next year. This pool team's bad. They're in bad form. You got to stab the knife through the chest here and take your 3 points. Because that's a huge 3 points to separate you guys from City. Arsenal on the money line here, very bettable number too. Plus 160-ish. I really like their team total as well, lined at over 1.5 at plus 105. So Arsenal, this is go time. This is lock up the league time. This is get rid of Poole in Anfield time. So I'm going to take Arsenal here. The smart move, if you're willing to lay the juice, might be to take the draw no bet at minus 125. But for me, this is a Champions League game. This is a we want our name to ring in the streets. We want everyone to respect us as the top of the table team, and we intend on making a statement in Champions League next year. And if you want to do all those things, you beat this decimated Pool team at Anfield in front of their own fans.
Yeah, and it's not impossible. Liverpool, it was weird, but Klopp's decision, he rested Salah, he rested Van Dijk, and I there's no way they're not playing in this one. Anfield's kind of been a house of horrors for us for a while, and we just very rarely go there and get anything. Both teams to score, I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look it up right now. I feel like is a pretty strong bet. It's just a matter of what the value is on it. More EPL. I'm just pulling it up. So 1 second. Goals, and it is minus 190. Yeah, you need more. I like the team total that you said with Arsenal. I think if we're going to win, it's going to take at least 2 goals. So that's a nice way to play it. Both teams to score and over 2.5. The standard, like, just get you some action bet.
I think it's going to be like minus 135.
Yeah, I got minus 122 right now.
That's better than I thought.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good bet. Saliba's still going to be out, if I'm not mistaken. So we're still going to have Rob Holding back there, who is a nice guy for squad depth. But yeah, he's last time we went there, if I'm not mistaken, like Diego Jota just ripped through him like a knife through butter, and I just think their pace and their direction. Salah running at Zinchenko, Darwin Nunez running at Rob Holding, things like that. Liverpool will score. I'm nervous about the game in terms of getting a result. As long as we don't lose and lose bad, I'm okay. Like a draw here, I'm happy enough with.
A draw keeps you floating. A win is a nice statement, though.
Yeah,
and we got to remember that this Pool team isn't the Pool team from years before. Leeds came into Anfield and beat this Pool team.
Yeah, Chelsea are not nearly as good as Arsenal and cohesive going forward. They created
minimum.
I was going to say they created a couple chances, but I'll give Liverpool a little bit of a benefit of the doubt without having Van Dijk back there trying to organize things. I can't see us having a Man City-esque 3-4-1 win over them.
No.
But I do think this could be a pretty entertaining game. This could be a classic. This could be a 3-2. I right now, I'm telling you, I think Mo Salah and Darwin Nunez will score. And I don't know why. I'm just seeing it that way. Salah, Nunez, and maybe Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka or somebody like that. I don't. Jesus looked good. Got his first start. I'll try to be more positive about Arsenal for a minute here. Getting him back fit and firing is solid. You could just see the ball is glued to his feet, and he's so creative as well. And he can set other people up. Uh, a very, very, very talented player. He could withdraw. He could play wide and let one of the other guys move centrally if he needs to. He could drop deep into midfield and let somebody overrun. Yeah, a lot of fun in this game. I think Xhaka to be booked is probably a good bet in this as well. We'll be under the cosh, and it'll get pretty hectic in that environment. I think this will be a very end-to-end game. And so, yeah, give me a Xhaka booking probably. Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff. I got a lot of mixed emotions. I'm going to be a mess during that game for sure.
Moving on over to Spain, we got some really nice games over there this weekend as well. One I think is gonna be good. I can't. This game's today, right? Give me 1 second. Sevilla is taking on Celta. I believe that game's this afternoon at 3 o'clock. So we'll get some lineups here shortly. I'm not super overly concerned about the lineups. Celta kind of suck on the road, but they have Aspas and they've been scoring goals lately. They did give up 2 shitty ones to get a draw versus Almeria the other day. Sevilla's on their 3rd manager. They're not playing great football, but Al Nassiri is hot. He's had goals in the last couple of games. I love both teams to score at even money here.
Yeah, I mean, what is the price right now for some of these guys? So, looking at, we don't have the lineup yet. So, I wish Viega wasn't suspended. I'd feel better about it. I'd love to take a Viega goal. The dude is just on fire. I can't believe what a season he's had. But where that leaves them, I'm not 100% sure. I think I probably won't touch this game. But like you mentioned, there's going to be value somewhere. Goals seem to be happening in both of their matches. At Celta Vigo, I mean, 4 out of 5, we've got over 2.5 goals. So,
and Celta are significantly worse on the road too.
Yeah.
With goals allowed, so they cough up a lot more. Not that Sevilla's scoring a ton, but like I said, Nassiri's in nice form. He's plus 170 over on FanDuel. Aspas is the backpack that kind of drives Celta, especially with that suspension. He's plus 185 over on Barstool. Rafa Mir is about plus 200. Ocampos is plus 280. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely value here, but I see goals. I really like both teams to score at even money. I think that's the bet for me.
Cool.
Next up, we have a nice little rivalry here, but between Espanyol and Bilbao. Bilbao obviously just got washed out of Copa del Rey by Osasuna, who I have very little respect for. I don't want to say Bilbao's fault. They probably should have finished a couple of goals there in regulation. But fans were sending fucking death threats to Naki Williams and shit like that, and that's stuff that I definitely don't support. I love both teams to score in this one. Jose Lu's on an absolute rip since being the striker for the Spanish national team and scoring some goals there. He's been backpacking Espanyol the entire time. Bilbao do suck on the road, but Espanyol is just they're so leaky at the back end. I don't see a way how Munain or the Williams brothers don't find the back of the net here somehow. So I love both teams to score again at plus 100 for Espanyol Bilbao.
Yeah, you know who I'm going to take for a goal in that one? It's going to be surprising, but I like what you said about um, how leaky they are. But I'm not going to take. It's not going to be a usual suspect. It's not going to be one of the Williams. A little deeper into midfield, Sanchez. I love watching this dude play. He is just timely with his runs into the box. He's tall. He can get on the headers. He wears number 8 for Bilbao. If you haven't watched a lot of it, try to watch him if you do want to tune into this game. Young guy. I think he's like 21, 22, something like that. Just a strong runner. Gets into the box well. I like him. I think I'm going to
He's
take
got a really
him
nice
for a
game.
goal.
I
Yeah,
completely agree. I think he's playing really well as well.
and
And
yeah,
that's a
so
nice little sneaky pick there that you're going to get a ton of value on.
I'm shopping it around right now. But yeah, to me, I do really like this. I think it's a prop it's under the radar. Obviously, you can't go crazy on a long
You
shot like
probably
this,
could get
but
him. What's his price on a goal? Like plus 450, plus 500?
right now it is. I'm looking on FanDuel, plus 230. So I'm going to shop it around. Hopefully,
You
find a
might be
better
able to
price.
find his shot on target right around minus 115 then.
Yeah, I'm going to peek on some other books, kind of shop this around, but yeah, that's all. That's all I've got. Unless you got anything else on that one.
No, I'm good there.
Yep.
We have my boys, Real Madrid, taking on Villarreal, who's finding some nice form. And if you guys are deaf or blind, I'll repeat it again. Chuck UAZ props. They've literally just been printing us money since November when he started getting regular tick. Vinny, 2 shots on target, Super Bevel price plus number. Chuck UAZ shot on target plus 135. Vinny anytime goal scorer plus 165. Ramadan Benz is absolutely baptizing people. His goals minus 140 though. Madrid minus 1 here on the Asian handicap is minus 118. Madrid's cooking right now. They're feeling themselves. They just beat Barcelona. Villarreal plays significantly worse football on the road away from their own building. I like Madrid here on the minus 1 at minus 118. I will probably try and bet something on Ramadan Benz. I might have to wait and take that live. But yeah, Benz, hat tricks, back-to-back games. Vinny, assists on one of those goals every time. Yeah, if you're not looking at Vinny goals, Vinny assists, Ben's goals, Ben's assists, Vinny's 2 shots on target at plus money, Chuck UAZ 1 shot on target at plus money, Chuck UAZ assist. If that's still around fucking plus 550, plus 600, especially on FanDuel, where he cashed us last week by drawing a pen in the box on that assist brilliantly. It was phenomenal. That cashed us at plus 525. I will be going back to that well, just because Chuck is an amazing player out there on the right wing. His left foot is a wand.
He's plus 550 for an assist. And yeah, we know that Madrid have problems at left back. Yeah,
Not really. Not if Camavinga's back there. He went 8 for 8 on tackles, had a last man tackle, and probably played the best defense against Barcelona out of anybody. I think we have more problems at right back with Danny, and I love Danny, but I've been saying it with Leg for over a couple of months now. Get Frimpong to Madrid, because that's the guy I want coming in to play over Danny when we need him.
Yeah, I think both fullbacks, like you mentioned, they've had some problems. Mendy can't stay healthy. Danny's old. Kamavinga, I mean, yeah, I guess he can fill that gap, but he's not a natural left back. And for a team like Madrid, I think you want. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe maybe long term they see him as a solution out there or something. But to me, I don't think you don't want to take a guy out of his best position just to fill a hole elsewhere in the side long term. So I think they'll definitely be in the market in the fullback department coming this transfer window. But yeah, you mentioned Madrid are in good form. It's hard to see anything other than a Madrid win. Benzema win cast. I mean, that's plus money. That's the way you can take it. Get it into plus money right now. Any
That's
chance
gotta be
he
like
sits?
plus 110.
Any chance he sits? Just because they
Benz?
don't need him? Yeah,
No.
the league's done. I mean, there's no, and they got Champions League and stuff. He's plus 142 for on FanDuel right now for a Benzema win cast. I'm with you. I understand why he wouldn't.
Benz is on a
Because
fuck you world tour right now. He's
right,
on
yeah.
Lewandowski's still top goal scorer in La Liga. Oh, and it's Ramadan, and I'm scoring hat tricks like it's nothing. I personally, if I play him, if he scores a couple of goals early, I take him out around the 75th minute. Just because you gotta keep these players' heads up. I think Carlo knows that. I have tons of faith in the Don. I've been a staunch supporter of him all season. I criticized my fellow Madrid fans who were criticizing him, saying that they wanted Don Carlo out. I think they're idiots.
Well, yeah, he's going to take the Brazil job. You can tell. I think he's
not
done.
after. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna win
I
us
think,
another UCL and a Copa
yeah.
del Rey first. We're gonna win another
Yeah,
double.
I do think he will win at least one of those competitions. Um, I'm not so sure. I would. I don't know. We can talk about those matches as they come, but the reason I ask is because this is a Saturday game squeezed between Barca on Wednesday, Chelsea in the Champions League on the following Wednesday. To me, this looks like a perfect sandwich game where they rest Benzema. They've been doing it all season. This match means nothing really of any significance, and to me, I want him as fit as possible. And as rested as possible to go at Chelsea. But I guess if you want to lock it in on a book that voids non-starters and you want to get
That
that
would be
Benzema
my
win cast,
best advice. I
yeah,
definitely wouldn't play this on
on
somebody that.
FanDuel, right?
But that
Or
said, I
yeah.
think if they do sit Benz, I don't see him coming in to take 15 garbage minutes. Like
Oh
if you're
yeah,
gonna rest him, you rest him,
you
right?
rest him, right? Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I mean, why? If you're going to give Rodrigo the start, you pretty well just let him finish up there.
Rodrigo played really well versus Barca too.
And that's so yeah. If you play Rodrigo or the young, is he Uruguayan, the young kid that they've been using as a super sub? Obviously, on the right, you can bring Asensio in for a start.
I hate Asensio, but yeah.
Yeah, I to me this looks like a game that Madrid will rotate in. I don't think Modric starts. I think that you'll see
I
like
think Modric and
Tchouaméni
Cruz definitely sit. I want to see
set.
Tuch
Yeah,
this game. I
yeah.
want to see
Tuch
Danny
will be in.
Ceballos.
Ceballos. Yeah, that Vasquez. I to me it's a wait and see because Carlo knows it like you mentioned
Carlo
they've
knows.
got the two
Carlo
cups.
knows.
So I would just. You're going to get the Madrid lineup in plenty of time before the game.
You'll get that 3-4 hours before game time without an issue.
So yeah, I would say just wait and lock it in when you see some things you do like, because I just don't see the incentive to risk anybody right now. Vinny's got to be close to a suspension too, right? With his cards, like didn't.
Yeah, this is probably, let me take a look at Vinny's card total. This
Yeah,
is probably a really good game for him to go get booked and then fucking sit after Champions League.
right. I just in Spain, because in England, I know if you get booked in the league, it carries into the cups, and vice
No,
versa.
Spain does
So in
not.
Spain, it's separate. Okay, so yeah, I mean they play Cadiz afterwards, and they've got Chelsea again, and then Celta Vigo at home, Girona. Uh,
Anybody who
when
needs to get their card out of the way should be picking it up this game because
yeah,
Cadiz ain't shit.
yeah, it's Cadiz and Girona and Celta Vigo afterwards, uh, all ahead of the Copa del Rey finals not till May, so you've got multiple fixtures in there that can sprinkle in. But yeah, it's just my hunch that you'll see a heavily rotated Madrid side. But yeah, we could probably talk about something else. I lost your picture. I didn't see it. Are you still there? If Oaks okay, all right. So Oaks disconnected for a minute. I'm sure he'll be working to get his way back. I know we're coming up on an hour mark here. We haven't talked about some games today. I will look and see if I can find a lineup for, because we've got games starting at 3 in Italy. The Milan lineup is out, so that's where I'll go. Let's take a peek here. So we've got Origi starting up top, Salamakers, Povega, and Rebic. So AC Milan have rotated their squad heavily here ahead of Champions League. Now at the back, they still have their normal midfield and back four, or back five if you count the keeper, are pretty much the same. But yeah, this is a heavily rotated front line of AC Milan. So I would need to dig in a little bit here. I'm not sure where, if anything, I see value. I need to shop some props. But yeah, I mean, you've got none of the usual suspects. Leao's on the bench, and Diaz on the bench, Giroud's on the bench. Yeah, I'm not sure. I would need to dive in and see if I can't find some value here. But from the lineup, to me, it's a no bet on this Milan game.
Same. Yeah, I'm not
Yep.
touching this Milan game as
Mm-hmm.
well. Sorry, I stupidly clicked on the wrong X and closed out of this. But
Glad
yeah,
it was
I
something easy
kind
then.
of
Yeah.
agree with what you're saying about Madrid. If they do sub, you'll know it well beforehand. But yeah, I think even with the backups here, Madrid still win this game at the Bernabeu over Villarreal. This is a little bit of a rivalry too, so there's always that to take into account. Couple more games over in Spain or one more game over in Spain that I like, and one just player prop I'm going to mention real quick. Valladolid takes on Mallorca. Valladolid at home. They rested Kyle Larin after his international duty. Guy's on like 8 goals in his last 6 games. So if you're not betting Kyle Larin at plus 300 versus Mallorca, you probably haven't been watching enough Spanish football. And then the game I definitely want to talk a little bit about is Real versus Atleti. Atleti on the road. There's nobody that I trust to score goals there, that I would plunk my money down. I don't trust Griezmann. I don't trust whoever starts between Morata or Depay. But normally, whoever starts doesn't score. Their sub scores basically immediately after they're subbed on. I really like that you can get Atleti right around -110 against a Rayo team who just can't figure it out. They traded for RDT. He was ineligible for half of the year. Now he can't find the pitch. That was Spain. That was the leading Spanish national goal scorer in La Liga last year. He had 17 goals, and he can't find the pitch for Rayo Vallecano. I think Atleti just have way too much for Rayo, even at home. In that cool ass stadium, I like Atleti here on the money line.
Yeah, I don't bet Atleti games. It's just something I never do. I never touch them unless there's an under bet that I want to get down on or a cards bet. Can't trust them. Don't like watching them. Yeah, the stadium is.
Understandable.
Yep, the stadium's cool.
Simeone ball sucks.
Yeah, I mean it. Honestly, when back, if we're going back 6, 7, 8 years ago, when they were at their peak, and you had a young Griezmann, Courtois was there on loan from Chelsea. You had Thomas Partey was there in the midfield. You had a ton of players that have either aged out or have moved on from the team, and the quality just has kind of dropped off a little bit. I think Rodrigo de Paul is back. I know he had some injuries. I like Llorente in midfield, or wherever they decide to play him as a wingback sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it's just there's not. I can't trust them to go in there and get a win. So, like you said, like Griezmann, he seems to be a guaranteed starter. Potentially, if his goal or assist is in a nice playable range,
It will be, but
yeah,
like he'll do that. He'll have 2 games where he has 4 goal contributions, and then boom, nothing for 6 games in a row.
yeah. So I'm seeing that Depay might be out. So you're probably going to get
Morata.
your favorite, player in the world, Alvaro Morata. But yeah, I just can't bring myself to bet that
I have
much.
nothing against Morata other
Mhm.
than just the price that he commands for the lack of quality he brings. He's a guy.
Your
He's a
former
guy.
Madrid
He's a
guy.
big body. He's
Hmm.
got when he has good hair, he scores goals. But
He
like
does have good hair.
other than
Yeah.
that, to like I'm pissed at Morata because we were either going to be stuck with Morata or we're currently stuck with Hazard, and both of them were way overpaid for what they do. And that's just the nature of the business, though. So yeah, I mean, Morata had a lot more talent. Now he just he's a big body that'll. My problem is the amount of blown big chances. Like the amount of completely blown big chances I see from Morata is just completely unstomachable.
Yeah. Hey, can we pivot over to Burnley in the championship? So we've got
Sure.
Burnley and Middlesbrough in the championship. Fun game. Burnley should go up automatically. The playoff. I mean, Borough will be in the playoff. I think this could be a fun match. I'm trying to pull. Let's see. Seeing if there's
Is it
any
at
props I
Burnley
like.
or is it in Millsboro?
It's Borough. It's at Borough. Um,
I'll take Millsboro then.
yeah, you're gonna take
That's
them.
a
They're
that's a
plus
biased pick for
180
me.
ish.
What's up? That's a biased pick for me. I like Zach Steffen, and I think he's the best American keeper. So yeah, that'll be a little biased for me. I also really like Millsboro's striker, that's playing out of his fucking mind. He's probably got 30 goals this season.
So I'm trying to pull up this Middlesbrough lineup right now on Twitter. Let's see. Pulling it up now. It always trips me out. Their tag is just Borough, so I always type in their whole name. Yeah, Steffen's starting. Chupa Akpom is the guy you were referring to.
Yep.
He's a former former Arsenal academy player.
25 goals this season.
Yeah, I mean he's
Top
a
top
decent
of the league.
he's a decent shout to score today. I'm going to shop his goal as well. I like what you're saying. To me, live and upcoming. I want to pull up the actual props here. So
Both teams to score over 2.5. A great look in this one. I don't know what the price is.
A lot of random leagues. Northern Irish Premiership, and got a bunch of matches kicking off here. There it is. All right, I finally got to the match. All right, so goal scorers, Akpom plus 155 on FanDuel, and take a peek over here on Camby. I do like Akpom today as well. It was the look that I was going to talk about. On the Burnley side as well. Let's see. Goal scorer for Akpom plus 165 over on Camby. Ashley Barnes is the favorite Burnley player to score plus 220. I never really like to bet on Ashley Barnes. He's kind of a just a hack, for lack of a better word. You know, he's your very prototypical. I mean, if you remember Burnley from the Premier League, he just is like a throw himself around kind of a center forward, leave a tackle in late, like make sure the defenders know that he's there. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I know you don't like them. Best price for Akpom goal is PointsBet plus 180.
Yeah, I can't bet at all there.
Yeah,
now.
I know you can't get like any action down.
I used to be able to get like $2 down. I can't bet at all. Like not only am I promo banned, and I wasn't accruing any loyalty points or anything like that. They will not take my action for any bet of any size on any market at this point. So, and honestly, after what they pulled yesterday with the double-double on Tyus Jones, I'm not so convinced I'd want to give them any money anyway. I'm not going to kill a sponsor. They're not probably going to sponsor our show, but yeah, they retroactively voided Tyus Jones double-doubles last night because they were hanging a bad number when Ja was not ruled out. And yeah, they paid out a plus 2,800 bet and then went back in and voided. So they've got a bit of a mess on their hands right now. But hey, go ahead and bet them while you can. I'm not saying that you won't get paid, but
no,
kind of shady stuff.
if we're gonna be honest and we're gonna talk about that, the guy found a way to juice his odds. He played 10 points plus a double-double. Yeah, that's bad on the sports book for allowing those to be parlayed together, but that's why there's house rules. That's why there's house rules.
That was actually what I know what you're saying, because sometimes you can tickle them up, but this was just a straight 10 points, 10 assists, same game parlay.
If we're talking about the one that I saw in chat, he had his double-double paired with his 10 points to get extra 200 out of it, which, I mean, again, that's fine. But like, when you get caught, you can't be mad because there are house rules. And I say it all the time, know your book's house rules.
Lecce just scored, made it 1-1 here. Nice turn and finish in the box after Napoli, failed to clear their lines. So,
good for me. They're going to press for that second goal now.
I hope so, man. Gosh, this Napoli team, they look. I don't recognize them. They just don't have the cutting edge. I'll say. So hopefully, like you said, they can press, maybe make a change or two here to try to shake things up, because you're
not wrong at all, and the sports books see it too, and they've reflected that in their prices. Napoli has their odds have gone up to win Champions League. Their odds against AC Milan have gone up significantly after the 4-0 beatdown. So you're not the only one who's starting to back off of Napoli a little bit. That's what the books are doing as well. They're giving a little better odds.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate you. I to be honest with you, I didn't even know that championship game was going on today because I don't
Yeah.
have my phone with me, and I didn't get the alert that Zach was starting a game because I do follow him on FotMob. But yeah, for the weekend, let's jump over to Germany. We got some good German games this weekend. Starting with Leverkusen versus Frankfurt. Leverkusen is cooking. They should be riding high off of that win over Byron. They're at home. Frankfurt had to play midweek. Leverkusen didn't. Leverkusen sitting right around -120 on the money line. Love that. Wirtz for an assist. He's sitting over +200 on most books for a dime. You know I love that. Diaby and Frimpong are playing absolute lights out football over there. Those guys are always worth a look for shots on targets and goal. I think Frankfurt, after beating Union Berlin 2-0, they ran it up early and then really had to work to maintain that win against Union Berlin in the second half. I think they're going to struggle with their rotation off a Leverkusen team at home that's riding high off of a huge win off of Byron. I think they come out and smack Frankfurt around here.
Yeah, I can see that. I think. Hold on a second. Let me pull up a couple things. I was just lagging behind here a smidge. Go ahead. I'm putting my bets in here. So sorry. I'm doing live. I'm all over the place.
For sure.
Yeah,
Dortmund
go
takes
ahead.
on Dortmund takes on Union Berlin at home for basically third place. Union Berlin's in third place. They're in a Champions League spot right now. Dortmund's in second. They just fumbled a bag to Byron. I think this is going to be a tough, cagey match. I like both teams to score at -105 here. Dortmund, I know Kareem Adeyemi has been on the bench. He hasn't gotten any tick. I'll be interested to see if he starts. I know Mukaku or however his name is pronounced is getting back in the lineup a little bit. I like what Danielle Mallin's doing. I like Dortmund. They probably have the edge here at home, but I think Berlin get a goal, and I'm going to stick with both teams to score at -105 is probably my best bet on that one. Next up, we got Freiburg hosting Byron. Freiburg just punked Byron in the cup game. Byron, that was their fourth loss of the season. New manager, one win, one loss. Going into Champions League, got to kind of make a statement here on the road, make sure Freiburg knows their place in the Bundesliga table. I expect Byron to baptize them. I like Byron over 2.5 goals at +133. First half over at +115, over 1.5. That's combined. That's not just Byron. El Chapo, his goal's only like +105. Mueller has been on his scoring stuff lately. So that means I like him for an assist, especially if I continue to get above +250 on Mueller, because all he does is drop dimes. For sure. Yeah. So I know Matt's having a little connection issue. That'll happen. We already covered the Lecce Napoli game. There's really only two games worth talking about over in Italy, in my opinion, and the big one for me is Lazio versus Juve. I don't respect Lazio. I've said it a number of times. I've said it to McAfee. He told me, I know he's here, and he can hear me talking. We're just having trouble hearing him. That I should probably respect Lazio a little bit more, and he's right. They have played a little bit better. This Juve team is absolutely cooking. They're grinding out results. I like them a lot on the road here. You're getting plus 180 on the money line. You're getting like plus 120 on a draw no bet. I think Juve's cooking and they're playing good football. So I'm going to back Juve here. I'm not going to even look at the props market until I see the lineup because Juve's just been kind of putting a bunch of different things together with guys on injuries and obviously some of their age with Diamira and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see who Juve trots out there, but I really like how they've been playing football lately, and I think that they can get the job done here in the capital versus Lazio. It looks like we're still having some trouble hearing you. I didn't get anything. Can you give me a little testing? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no. All right, cool. That's actually a pretty decent stopping point, just because that's really all I have to talk about. The other one is Torino versus Roma. Torino's very solid at home. Roma, they got a nice win. I'll take the risk and play Roma on the money line at plus 145. MLS stuff, we'll get to it later. Follow me on Twitter. Thank you, as always, to our sponsors, Gold Boys, for hosting on Twitch. Pickett, great bet shopping tool, great unit tracking app. Boom Fantasy, great daily fantasy app. I've found a lot of value in their baseball markets that I've been playing recently, so follow for stuff like that. Appreciate everybody for showing up. Sorry Matt had some technical issues and had to drop out, but we'll just call it a wrap there. Follow both of us on Twitter for any further looks. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Oaks out. Doses.